Okay, this is a Paramount picture. Lacey loves when I talk about studio logos. All the Indiana Jones movies open with the Paramount Mountain turning into something in the movie. And in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Spielberg told Frank Marshall, he's like, go find me a mountain on this damn island of Hawaii.
I gotta do the transition thingy with the mountain.
Or the island of Kauai. Sorry, not Hawaii. And they did. And that's what they did in every movie until the most recent one. Because the most recent one was a Disney picture. It opens with the fucking Disney castle.
So they transitioned to a different castle.
Right.
Okay. They were in Ireland.
Here we are in Liechtenstein.
Delicious.
Because Lucasfilm was sold to Disney, so they didn't just buy Star Wars; they bought Indiana Jones.
And in my head, there was always an Indiana Jones ride, but maybe I'm thinking of Universal.
No, there is, but that was licensed. That was Disney purchased the license for the theme park, but they didn't own Indiana Jones the character.
Okay, now they own him.
Now they own him. So yes, this is South America. The year is 1936. A mysterious man steps into frame. We see him only behind, but a team of quote natives unquote follows him.
It's rough.
The title appears modestly, just Raiders of the Lost Ark. Harrison Ford isn't even above the title. It just
because they're saving him as a little surprise for some reason.
Harrison Ford's in this movie.
They do wait for him to step into the light. I was wondering why.
One of the coolest hero introductions ever. The way he just steps into frame from the shadows when the guy betrays him, pulls a gun on him, and he whips the gun away.
He whips his nene.
Yes. Here, let's just look at this GIF.
Oh, God, okay, but please stop it after it plays 3 times. It starts to break my brain.
You will notice I opened it in a new tab.
It doesn't mean you ever turn it off in time for me to stop. It's for the melting to happen. My mind melts.
This isn't worth it. Okay.
I can picture it like it was yesterday.
But just Raiders of the Lost Ark, starring Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones, that's not in the title. This is just Raiders of the Lost Ark, okay? Despite what the package that the movie comes in tells you.
Well, they didn't know what they had. Little did they know, it's all about Harrison Ford.
I want to learn. I want to do some reading about that. What point did they decide that the sequel should have Indiana Jones in the title?
As soon as they went into theaters and everyone came out of it with a huge erection, including the men, and they all said, and then they're like, okay, got it. I mean, look at there's that from the history section. You showed us an advertisement of it. Mm-hmm. It's just him.
It's just him.
It's a giant him.
Yes, but like James Bond, it wasn't like the second James Bond was like James Bond and From Russia with Love. Just an interesting choice.
All right.
Truly never occurred to me until right now. Why did they change? Because George Lucas said everyone will be Raiders of the something. All right. Well, Alfred Molina plays Satipo.
All right.
His little guy who's afraid of spiders.
Oh, his little guy.
And they go into the cave and there's a lot of tarantulas crawling around. Indiana Jones, he's not afraid of that shit.
I had to put down my salad.
Because of the tarantulas?
Yeah. One is fine, but all of them. Ugh.
Yeah. Are you afraid of spiders?
No.
But you were bitten by a brown recluse in your sleep.
I'm still not afraid of spiders.
And I am afraid of spiders. I hate them. And but when I try to tell myself, no, it's a good bug. It's good. They're good. They do good work.
You do great work.
Good job. And I salute the spider. And they reach the booby-trapped room. They find the idol. There's the iconic swap of the sand. And he's just he's good with the way he takes the sand out of the bag. And
right.
And I guess he's just trying to make his hand. He's trying to do something to his hand, like make it easier to grab, give himself more grip.
No.
Or is it literally just to tell me what it is?
It's because he didn't see it in person yet, and he realizes he put too much weight with the sand in the bag. He needs to make it less. It's got to equal the exact amount of the idol.
So he does that, and it looks like the coolest thing ever. I could never take something out of a bag that cool.
You could not.
No. And he trades it, and he thinks he got it, but no. The little thing goes, this is going to be a hard movie to describe, but you know this movie.
Then it starts to go. Anyway, he's in a room of booby traps, and he realizes he trapped a booby when he does that. Mm-hmm. And he's about to get boobed.
And his friend, Alfred Molina, betrays him. Won't throw him the whip bag. Now, are we to take from this that Alfred Molina was working for Belloc the whole time?
No, I mean, because, Indiana is not very nice to this man. This is clearly a local man he hired to help him get through here. This guy knows the language. He knows where to find these things. This guy's doing all the work, but this guy also knows the lore, knows knows the history of this place. This is a sacred place, or at least it's a cursed place. And he's like, please, I don't want to go in here. And the guy, and Indiana's like, fuck you, come in. Like, I mean, Indiana's fucking rude as shit to him the whole time, and has paid him enough to put him in this life-threatening situation. At the end of the day, this guy does not matter to Indiana. And I mean, so he's not really building a rapport, is what I'm saying. So as soon as this guy's like, all right, well, I mean, this fucking thing's real. I'm sure someone wants it. It's made of solid gold. I have a family. So he's like, that guy's dead. I already made it over the thingy.
Indy is in this world of treasure hunting, and that's the peril of hunting treasure with other people, is once you get the treasure, you're like, they're going to start doing some calculations like, I could just kill my friend and keep all the treasure.
It's not your friend. Also, this is why you need to be nice to the people you hire. One day you might need them to throw you the whip, and they won't.
Well, that guy dies, unfortunately.
Like fucking 1 foot away. Just like, I don't have any.
So Indy runs out of the cave with the idol. On there, he's met by the Jovitos, who are under the control of the villainous Belloc, played by Paul Freeman.
Wouldn't you say the boulder part is like the most iconic moment of movies?
Of the series,
yeah. But it's, when you look at it, it's like, just lay down.
It's pretty, well.
Lay down. There's a huge fucking gap. It starts from like on high. Just go. But my thought is, maybe it blocks the exit. Like, so you need to be ahead of it because maybe it clogs the cave entrance. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it's like, just lay down for a second. Indeed.
Or like, I wouldn't think of that. Okay. You gotta have a lot of confidence and like, I'll just lay down and the boulder will. If a boulder comes toward me, I just run. I'm not thinking. And Indy doesn't always do the right thing. He's a very vulnerable character.
I like that about him.
It's a lot of luck. He has a lot of good luck. And he's really good at a lot of stuff, but he also gets the shit beaten out of him and he fails a lot.
Yeah, he's not the most masculine, most like skilled person in the room, but he's quick and he's on his feet.
And he
can improvise.
I think that in my memory, this is way more of a quippy movie than it is. And it's not quippy at all.
No.
Like when he says something like, when he gets trapped down in the tomb and Belloc's like, maybe even you will become part of history. He just goes, son of a bitch. And it's like the best line of the movie that he delivers, but it's like all you said was son of a bitch, but Harrison Ford said it so well and so funny. But it's like a lame kind of, it's not a clever line or anything.
So, but that's your example how this isn't quippy?
Yes.
Why?
That to me is like the most quippy he gets in the entire movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like kind of lame.
It's relatable and kind of dad jokey.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, Belloc, played by Paul Freeman, corners him, takes the idol from him. Paul Freeman, this time I think like I was just in awe of this performance. I've always liked it, but like I guess I never really was tapped into how squirmy, but also like he's actually kind of conflicted about what he's doing.
Yes. Oh, really? Because I think, I mean, at the core of him is probably a not very scrupulous person. I'm using the word wrong. There's more bad in them than good, but they're still good.
Well, I think that I realized like he is an actual true believer in the importance of the work that he's doing. Yeah, and that will make him do bad things. But I think I used to think like he's on the Nazi side and he just wants to get rich. But even at the end of the movie, when the ark opens and he's about to die, he's just like, it's beautiful.
True.
And I think that he thinks that he and Indy are like compadres, like, you'll fuck over me, I'll fuck over you, we'll do this all day.
It's like Batman and Robin in the Lego movie.
Batman and Robin in the Lego movie.
Batman and the other guy.
And the Joker?
The Joker. You know, they have that whole moment of like, but you're my counterpart guy.
Yes, and the Joker in the Dark Knight. We're destined to do this forever, you and I.
It's a one-sided relationship, though.
Yes,
Indy's just annoyed with you,
right? I think that the way I was thinking of it was later in the movie when they're in the bar. I think Belloc thinks that they're like attorneys on the opposite side of a court case, but like after the day they go and have a drink in the bar. Like that's what he wants the relationship to be,
right?
Belloc, but Indy's like, no, this is personal.
Belloc finally found someone who likes his literally arcane interests, like no one else likes this nerd shit and then likes to get rowdy about it. So you know, he's found his equal, and he's like, I just want to, they gave me $2,000, I'm running out of money here, I just need to get the thingy to the museum, please. And he's not trying to make friends. No, and that's a little, sorry, Belloc.
He's like every reality show contestant. He didn't come here to make friends. So Indiana, then we follow him back to his day job at school. where he lectures a classroom full of female college
I pointed
students.
this out. It's 1932 or 1934.
36.
There you go. What college has this many female attendees in 1936?
I don't know.
I would like to fucking know.
Yeah, because it is a co-ed school. It's not like this is a women's college.
It'd be crazy.
This isn't Wellesley or whatever. I don't know. What? Okay, IMDb goofs. The gender ratio is off.
Or they all just know to take this class because women just want to get married after all, even if they're just in college.
Wouldn't you though? Harrison Ford, very good as a professor. I love that. Like, this is what he actually loves to do. He loves. It's in Last Crusade where he says like archaeology is done in the library. It's done by reading books. It's not done out in the field. And I think he believes that.
Yeah. He just doesn't like it when the periodicals are missing from the library, so he goes on an adventure to get them. I need the microfiche.
It belongs in my library.
Exactly.
Marcus Brody, played by Denholm Elliott, is like his sponsor and confidant, and he owns the museum and he finances Indy's journeys. And I think it's pretty odd that this is a totally original screenplay, and this man's name is so similar to the man who was the protagonist of Steven Spielberg's earlier movie Jaws.
Say the two names.
Martin Brody is from Jaws. Marcus Brody
That is odd.
is this movie, and they knew that and yet didn't change it.
Okie dokie. And this is Rook Skytalker.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't seem like it's a reference. It doesn't seem like this is a cheeky little joke.
Or is he the shark? Just kidding.
He enters and he's like, I brought some Army intelligence agents to talk with you.
Though, like, I guess it's hard for you to watch with fresh eyes, but like the whole time I'm waiting for him to double cross him. There's some double cross vibes happening in everyone that Eddie deals with. I'm also waiting for Sala farts for Sala to do it too. And then there's even it's just the role he's in.
Yeah.
You don't know who's a true believer and who's doing it for nefarious reasons or reasons they're not putting on the table. And I say true believer, and that's funny too, because even Indiana isn't a true believer in the sense that he cares very much about these religious artifacts, but he doesn't care for it in the way that people who are in the religion and believe in the religion do. So there's so many conflicting interests. And that is a lot to keep track of if you think you're supposed to keep track of it.
It is, you're right. Because it is like Belloc at the end, like Indy cares about the history. He cares about the history. He doesn't believe this is important because it's history. It's not important because it's a tool of God.
Right.
But at the end of the movie, it seems like Belloc actually believes this is a tool of God. And Brody seems to believe this might be a tool of God. And Indy's like, oh, it's a bunch of hocus pocus mumbo jumbo. So yes, you're right. It is a lot to track.
Well, there's all that, and then you put fucking the Nazis on it in a war, and then and now I'm also having to keep track of like who has military interests but who has like regime interests. Like I don't know. Like,
and you need to know that like, okay, so this is 36. The war doesn't start till 39. So like, at this point, they're just kind of like adversaries. Like, are we friends? Are we enemies? What are we doing here?
Being stinkers. Yeah, but they obviously know like it's not cool that Hitler's going around all these different religious sites and like trying to dig up as many artifacts as he can. That is a red flag, my friend. When someone starts to take your country's antiquities, you're next. Do not get on a train.
Yeah, who would ever do that? Oh, all European countries. And that's the other thing. Like, this movie, I think, has a little bit of commentary on colonialism and the way we just go into other countries and take all their stuff.
It is colonialism, the movie. I mean, it does. There were many moments of that. Like, we're just going to another brown country, another one. And let me put all you guys in danger. Let me fuck up your little shop you've got here. And
like, yeah, I think the movie is aware, like, yeah, we're just destroying these like people in Egypt, their homes. We're just driving through like the pylons that hold up their.
They're literally cosplaying in every single situation they're in. Well, now we're here. We need a costume change. They have so many random reasons for Marion to change her clothes. And it's like, well, now we're here and she looked great in this cotton cloth. And I don't know. She does change her clothes a lot for an adventure movie.
Like he
does too.
He's going to get the Ark of the Covenant for Brody's museum in America, not for the Egyptian museum. Though, of course, I think Egypt at the time was still under control of the United Kingdom. So literal colonialism, but it's not like, yeah, or we'll put it in the Jewish museum in Jerusalem or whatever.
So it's hard to know, right? Because it's so important for Indiana's character that these things are protected and preserved. I don't get the sense that he cares like because it's for the glory of the United States to have the most impressive artifacts in one place, or if it's they're going to Britain or whatever it is. I think for him it's like, I need a safe, trusted place that has a high enough security that I didn't just go to all this effort to get this thing and it be stolen in some kind of way, or fire or whatever. So I could buy that he's not trying to do it for the glory of the West.
Not for patriotic reasons.
No, he just wants he's what is the word I'm looking for? Pragmatic.
That's why I love Belloc's calls his bluff at the end of the movie. Like, you're not going to blow this up. You want, even if it means that we kill you, you want to see this thing open. Even if it means Nazis own this, you're still like, your life has been leading to finding out what's in this ark.
That's even a little more selfish than he is. He literally just is true to his beliefs from start to finish. Even he doesn't have personal valid enough reasons to destroy the thing that he's already said is important to preserve. That was a long way of saying that.
I liked it.
Oh, good.
These guys, these army intelligence officers, they're saying Hitler and the Nazis, they're fascinated by the occult. This is a widely held belief that I think...
Did it come from this movie?
I think, no. So apparently, I did a little bit of research on this. After World War II, the myth of Nazis being obsessed with witchcraft and mythology really took off, and it doesn't seem to be actually based in much.
Just because they're not Christians, right? Like they're thought to be atheists, but because of all that they did, they have to be like, no, but they're dark Christians.
We have to other them.
They have to other them. Yeah.
Like, certainly fascism is very based in sort of mythologizing your own race, race in quotes, because race is not real.
Not a thing, right?
And the glorious history of the Aryan and the Nordic people and the ancient ancestors of the Germans. And I think that it's easy to like leap from that to like, and also we believe in like this Celtic pagan weird witchcraft sort of belief, but like that doesn't seem to have actually been a real thing.
No, it definitely just seems more like something where Christians in the West would be like, well, he's bad, so he's obviously not our kind of Christian. And then you can just dogpile after that. And famously, he's a vegetarian artist and writer. He's not a witch.
Hitler personally, like, I think might have been an atheist, or might have been I think he was an opportunist. But certainly most Nazis were Christians, were Lutherans or Catholics. So this movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark, and now we are introduced to the Lost Ark. Certainly, before I saw this movie, I assumed they meant like Noah's Ark. And I think they never explain, like, you say ark to most people, and they're like, oh, that's a boat. And I looked it up on Wikipedia. Does ark mainly refer to a chest? No, mainly refers to a boat. Except this time. It's the Ark of the Covenant.
You don't know they don't use that as a boat?
True. I mean, yeah, any port in a storm. So
any boat in a port.
But it's a testament to this movie that you're like, yeah, that's just what it's called. And I accept it. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Gotta go find that ark. We'll do it by searching out Mr. Ravenwood. He was my beloved best friend, but we fell out 10 years ago for mysterious reasons that we will find out about 5 minutes from now.
Well, then change the slide, my guy, because I'm like, don't give me a visual aid. Don't do it.
I love that first he gets on a TWA Trans World Airlines plane that is just this tiny propeller plane in the water.
It looks comfortable though.
But it looks really luxurious inside, and that's what plane travel was at the time.
I know, it's got curtains that you do this. They're fabric.
And he flies to Nepal. Okay, and we finally
Which makes me think of Something About Mary, because she loves Nepal and Nepalese coins.
Does she?
I don't know.
Will we cover There's Something About Mary on the show one day?
I could see it happening. It's not one of my movies, but it certainly was such a like iconic moment of the 90s, so it seems like it.
All right, we finally meet Marion, Karen Allen at the Raven in Nepal. Tell us about it.
Okay, so it's a bar I want to visit, but it's kind of rough, very I don't know, very of that town. I don't know. It looks like it's been there for hundreds of years, and it's just what I thought were two women, but two people having a drinking contest to see who can like stay upright, and whoever drinks the most and stays upright wins. But the amount of alcohol these two people are consuming is insane. You know, one of them actually falls out. So the person that wins is the owner, but you can tell she doesn't fuck around, because as soon as she collects the money, she gets everybody out of there. And, you know, she knows the town she's in, and she's a hard ass. But then she sees this guy who clearly was a love interest of her, and it's Harrison Ford. And she's so drunk. And I can't, like, but she's not really acting drunk. She's acting a little wild. But the whole time, it's just like if I know someone didn't sleep that night in the movie's reality, or if I know they're hungover, there's something about it that like fucks up that time for me, because I'm like, I feel hungover. I feel drunk. Would I want to run into like the biggest deal relationship ex that I have in this condition? No.
But she's drunk so often, like lots of people who are drunk all the time, what they do is when they're drunk is act like they're not drunk, but they're little tells. Let's back up. What do you think about this performance? You don't like Princess Leia. I feel like
I love this performance.
Okay. I feel like this is, and I think she is superior to Carrie Fisher. This is one of my favorite performances ever. Karen Allen in this movie. I love her so much.
She's just such a fully formed I know this person. It's so organic. It's so, what's the word? Real?
It's so real.
Authentic. That was the word I was looking for. Oh God. Okay. And then we meet, there's just so many random henchmen that don't look like they have anything to do with like the cities that they're in. I just feel like the casting was all over the fucking place. But you don't know. Maybe these are people they hired there. Maybe they're people that they bring along for their journey. These German people. We meet the Germans for the first time. Yes. In this scene,
we got a shot of Toth, whose name is never actually spoken in the movie, I don't think, but the German with the hat, the weird
the guy that looks like the bad guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The one time I'm going to say the whole name and you say the short name. How dare you?
Note it for the record.
This guy is so he makes me so uncomfortable. The laughing never seems to stop, but he manages to talk on top of it. There's this like, hey, I'm talking. It is fucking wild, and it is very effective. I am terrified of this man.
How about a drink for you and your men? We are not thirsty.
All right, sorry. Okay, Indiana busts in the bar. They have a back and forth. You realize they have a past. He needs the little freaking medallion that goes on top of the stick, that shows where they need to dig to find the ark. He worked with her dad, so he finds out that the dad passed away, but she's still here, and she's like, yeah, I know of it. And he's like, here's some money. And she's like, come back later, come back tomorrow. She's finally got the control back, right? So she sends him away, and then
can I stop you? So I love this little exchange. I think it is like just primo example of how to dump exposition in a fun way with such economy. So we learn, okay, she said, I was a child. I was a child. He said, you knew what you were doing. Okay. Gross. Karen Allen at this point is 29. This was 10 years ago. So she would have been 19 and Harrison Ford would have been
29.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, there's
a 10-year age difference. Okay.
But that's not like a criminal difference.
Sure,
and
no,
it's not,
but you don't know that. The math isn't done for you. So it's off-putting, but yeah, you get over it.
I think in 1981, when she says I was a child, we are not supposed to like get like super
not at all.
sex predator red flag.
I know that.
But then he's like, you know what you were doing. Okay, I was tired of chasing Abner all around the world on his treasure hunts. Abner's dead, and we realize, okay, so she's stuck here because
this is where
he died. She doesn't have it. Like, she's making enough money to survive here, but not enough to get home. He says, I'll give you $3,000. And she says, that's enough to get me home, but not in style.
Right.
Like, that's what she actually wants. I just want to get back to America.
Yeah, but like you also get the sense that she didn't really get to create roots, right? She was just brought along for all these different treasure hunts, collecting junk. That didn't mean anything to her. It meant something to him, and because of that, she didn't get to have a real life. And because Indiana was his apprentice, this is the person that was in her life the most, other than her own dad. And then they both abandoned her. Mm-hmm. I'd be fucking pissed too.
Yeah, but. Hey, I didn't mean to end up here, but look, I'm the fucking queen of Nepal with this bar. Like so she's super resourceful.
Absolutely. And he did not have means. He could travel the world. So he did buy her a bar, I'm sure, the dad. And also, he died here because he knew the City of Souls was here. Is that the city they dug up?
That's in Egypt. They're in Nepal right here.
Oh. Well, what the fuck's he doing in Nepal?
She's in Nepal.
But why did he die there?
He must have been hunting some Nepalese treasure. There's treasure everywhere.
Oh.
In the Himalayas.
Sorry.
And she's like, of all the places to get stuck, but I'll make the best of it.
Anyway, she pretends that she's like, yeah, I know the medallion you mean. It turns out she's got it she's wearing it. But she doesn't tell him that. She puts it on the table. She's very drunk. And then the Germans come in after he leaves and she's already taken it off of her person. So now she's kind of got to avoid that table before someone realizes that the thing they're here to kill me for is right there on that table.
Mm-hmm. I love, they start shooting, they shoot a barrel of whiskey and the whiskey starts pouring out. And right before she drinks some from the spout. I love it. It's just such a good little Spielberg touch.
Unapologetic alcoholic. She's always asking for a drink.
But it's also just a charming, fun thing to have a character do.
And I mean, the whole movie though, like that is part of her person.
But not as a defect. It's not as this fucking drunk.
Yeah.
It's something that makes her cool.
I don't know that makes her cool. I think it's just part of her.
Does to me.
Okay. Loser.
You know what? We do see both Indy and Marion kill Nazis with guns. They shoot both. They both shoot a Nazi
This
dead.
is a movie not afraid of violence and blood and there. Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. So she distracts them long enough. Indy comes in and the scary German man notices the medallion, but he's also set her restaurant on fire, her bar on fire. So the medallion's been cooking in fire, and he grabs it and it sears into his hand, and he runs out crying like a little bitch and puts his hand in the snow, just like Home Alone. And so that happened, but they get the medallion back. So the next thing we know is just that Indy and her are in possession of it, and they're on their way to Cairo.
Yeah, that's the next step of our journey. This is where we will find out
on to Cairo,
where the Ark is hidden. And then we meet Salah John Rhys-Davies, who you seem to think is a fine fella.
I really liked him, yes. He just seems so helpful, so jovial, having so many kids and a monkey that's not theirs.
He's the best digger in Cairo, and the Nazis have hired him, but he helpfully tells us right here, they're paying pennies.
They hired everyone, right?
Yeah,
they didn't
treat
just
us
hire
like
me.
shit.
Right. Oh, I kind of forgot this point. Like, I was like, what are they doing? Just fucking going on this dig site like they own the place. He already works there. Like, I forgot. I wasn't thinking that whenever they do it.
And he's in like some sort of supervisor position. So
yeah.
And that all, but like later when all the people in all the Egyptians are like cheering that the Nazis are getting their asses beaten. You're like, why are they cheering? It's like, oh, because they've been mistreated by them at the job site.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean that plan where he just pulls his car into a place that they immediately cover up to make it look like a market. I was just like, wait, they don't have cell phones, they have walkie-talkies. How did they coordinate this shit? But that bothered me and not you. Okay, so I mean, he's fucking Aladdin, right? Any fucking not, and I'm talking about Indiana Jones here. Like any place he finds himself, he's in trouble. I don't know. He's an outlaw. He just keeps finding himself in fights.
He does.
This whole movie is just him getting in little skirmishes.
Well, at this point, Salah's like, I know a man who can translate the shit from the medallion.
Oh, right.
But we gotta wait for some reason. So Indy, Marion, you guys go kill time. They appear to just be like taking in the sights.
Yeah.
Indy and Marion walking together. I want to say this about John Rhys-Davies. This is an iconic role for him. Later in life, he played Gimli in the Lord of the Rings movie, so he has 2 giant roles. He is a huge piece of shit in real life.
Oh.
Despite playing a Muslim man in this movie, he's a very outspoken anti-Islam. He's an Islamophobe. He's a British man who talks a lot about how bad it is that Muslims come to Britain.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So he sucks. We like the performance, dislike the actor. Dislike the person.
Thank you for letting me know.
Indy and Marion go through the streets. Yeah.
And then probably the funniest moment of the whole movie, which was improvised, right? Or at least it was Harrison Ford's idea because he was tired.
I think it was due to they didn't have enough time to do the big choreographed fight when the swordsman. And it's so great that Indy pulls out the gun and shoots him because the reason everybody laughs is like, oh right, we knew he had a gun, we just forgot. We haven't seen his gun in just long enough that when he pulls it out, you're not like, that's cheating.
There's so many times in these movies where it's someone who's like always getting into these adventures, that there's some sort of gentleman's agreement, some sort of understanding. I'm going to meet this person where their weaponry is. If they want fisticuffs, we fisticuff. If they have a knife, I'll find something pointy. Like it's refreshing when someone's just like, I'm just going to use I have a gun. So rock, paper, scissors, I win.
It's wonderful. I mean, you could certainly read it as like, this is the West and the advanced technology of the West destroying the primitive.
Yeah. But it's not like they don't have guns here too.
Right. But Marion gets captured by the Nazis / their Egyptian proxies, and she gets into a basket to hide, but then they find out that she's in the basket and they pick her up.
Because of this stupid monkey. It's very upsetting. I've never been more mad at a monkey. When it's screeching on top of the basket and she's trying it, and I'm just, I hate that monkey. He's a bad monkey.
And Lacey gets mad at a lot of monkeys, but I've rarely seen this level of vitriol to a simian.
Well, it was such a sweet little thing that they had, and they were calling it their baby, and it was a little icebreaker between her and Indy, and then it turned out to be an evil monkey.
You know what I love is once he thinks that Marion is dead, he still takes care of the monkey. The monkey goes to the bar with him.
It reminds her of him, even though he doesn't realize the monkey's a spy.
But that's not the monkey's fault.
Fine.
Sorry, I made a GIF, but it's not loading.
Please stop trying.
I will.
It's very distracting.
I just wanted to show you this shot because it's just so indicative of what Spielberg is so good at.
Is it beams of light?
No.
Is it a divorce?
He tried to work in a divorce team. I mean, Indy and Marion are kind of divorced. So yeah, Indy knows that she's been taken, that she's in a basket. He's trying to chase, but they're getting away from him, and then, stumbles onto the bazaar where there's a bunch of baskets. And just the way Spielberg shoots Harrison Ford figuring this out is like why he's so good. Does little simple things with the camera that you don't necessarily notice, but when you really figure out what he's doing, like, that's why this is better than what other filmmakers would do. Okay, so
that up
he
close.
looks, instead of cutting to the rest of the bazaar, we pull out and now follow him figuring it out.
Right.
And we learn with him.
And this is just rude. All these people's laundry.
Yeah.
It's just upsetting.
To normal filmmakers, it would just be Harrison Ford's face, then cut to what he's seeing, but instead spin around with him. And it's like much more horrifying to realize it that way. But Marion, he thinks Marion's dead because she gets in a truck that blows up. We don't see her get out of it, but she's fine.
But Salah really accepts like it's really spread around town fast. He's like, Marion's dead. I know. And
yes, I know. I heard.
Life goes on. Like, what?
Life goes on, Indy.
Fucking dick. Okay. After you use your kids as human shields, rude.
He takes his best friend Monkey, who reminds him of Marion. That's sweet.
Marion the monkey.
To the bar, gets really shit-faced, and then Belloc invites him in to have a drink. And this is where I realized the lawyer thing. Like, Belloc's like, no, we're like, well, you get it though, dude, right? Like, yeah, I'm French, you're American, I want the thing, you want the thing, I'll kill you, you'll kill me, but we can break bread together, right? And Indy, he's not having any of it. And he's like, you want to meet God? I'll introduce you to him right now, motherfuck. And he's about to pull out his gun to shoot him dead, but then all the Salah's kids run in and save him. And this bothered you.
Oh, yeah. No, it works. It's funny. It's a funny thing to do, but like the reality of it, if this were to really happen, I'd be like, bad father.
It is a bad father. You
bad
shouldn't
father
do that.
move. Yeah. And it's not just one of his kids, his least favorite, all of them.
It's all. He might, yeah. We finally, it's time to go visit the man who can interpret the medallion. I don't know what was taking so long, but now it's time.
He's in the shitter,
and it takes a while. Yeah,
he's old.
We Salah brings Indy over there. This guy can interpret the markings, and also we see that one of the evil Arab men snuck in and poisoned the dates. So we know that, but Indy doesn't know that. It's classic dramatic tension. We know something that Indy doesn't know, and he's about to eat this date. So what we learn is, here's the thing about this medallion. This medallion tells you...
Well, they walk in, though, giving you some exposition that doesn't feel too XB, saying, like, how on earth could they build a replica? There's nothing that looks like it. It's not written down anywhere. How could they have engineered something that does the same thing? Because it's baked into the man's hand.
Right. We don't find that out till later,
Right.
but yeah, that's why.
But here's why he should have sandwiched it.
Yes.
instead of
Because
forever.
here, there's more inscriptions on the back of the medallion.
It was booby trapped for someone who thought they would bake it into their hand.
Right.
Think again.
Yeah, it's like build the staff 7 caroms or whatever tall, but then, oh wait, take away 1 carom to honor God on the 6th day.
I didn't hear the last part. I just knew the takeaway.
Okay, so this reminded me, I recently had the misfortune of going fishing with my dad and his friend. And his friend is like a real fisherman, and he thought that I wanted a lot of fishing lessons that I didn't want.
Oh.
So he's like, you want to learn how to put on fishing hook on the fishing line? I'm like, yes. Because this is a tiny little boat. What am I supposed to do? But I'm like, I'm 37 years old. I don't want to learn anything, please. But no, he's going to teach me. And he's like, here, you put the line through. Okay, give me a little twist. And he's like doing it right in front of me. And I have to do it perfectly for him or he's going to make me start over. And I just want this to end. And he's like, now, here's what you want to do. You want to spin it. A lot of people say 6 times, but I tell my grandkids, you spin it 7 times because God created the world in 7 days. And we do this to honor God. So go ahead and spin 7 times. And I'm not able to spin adequately, but he's like, okay, 1.
Oh, God,
2,
Matt.
7 for God, 7 for God. Okay. Yes, that was like the medallion. See, when you build the staff of Ra, build it 6 catoms high.
Got it.
To
Now
honor God.
I'll always remember.
Thank you.
I didn't understand.
The staff of Ra, you put it in one chamber and the sun shines through it and it'll show you the
In
location.
the map room, Matt. That's the map room.
The map room. The map room. And that will show you the location of the Well of Souls where the Ark of the Covenant is hidden. This is only paying close attention to the movie did I realize, like in the past, I've been like, the map room shows you to just dig right here in the most obvious place in the world, in the temple. I'm like, oh, wait, but the temple's not there anymore. The temple would have been there 5,000 years ago. I got it.
Wait, it's still a city and you can put it anywhere. And as we see, they barely buried it. Like it takes them 5 minutes to get it. But
That's not true. It takes all day. There's a little montage of Indy kind of pacing around in the sun.
well, he didn't get dirty. So it's helpful to know right where to dig. It's a city. It's in the middle of a city. It's this big.
I was wrong, I'm saying. It was
You are
dumb of me. Okay. We figure it out. Great. Now we know where the Well of Souls is. Sala, get a bunch of people to leave their job and come do this satellite job and hope that the Nazis don't notice. But of course they do. And they start digging and then boom, bada boom, bada bum. There's the Well of the Souls. We found it. Also, we figure out, India earlier figured out Marion's still alive. He stumbled into her tent. She's being held hostage and he's going to set her free and then decides, no, I can't set you free because
it's about something bigger than that, right? I'm here for this. You seem to be taken care of fine. You like when you're tied up. And so I will be right back. Bollock's a pussycat.
if I untie you, if I set you free, they'll know I'm here.
Right.
And
Not that you're a resourceful woman.
but yeah, it is the worst thing he does in the movie.
I don't take offense. He's right. We're not here just to like rekindle this relationship where we've already involved all these fucking people. We've put 9 kids in danger and a monkey. So like, let's just go do the thing we're going to do. Your father would want it this way, Marion.
But she does. I mean, okay, fine.
She didn't love it.
And
She's never going to be the most important thing to him. That's never going to be the case.
right, and that's why we
Just
see
like the Mummy movies. He does a creepy thing by buying a dress for her and insisting that she put it on. And she knows men. She works in a bar. She's raised by her dad. Like she acts the way all of us did before me too, which is like, all right, okay, no, this is fucking creepy. But maybe if I give you this inch, you won't take a mile later. I'll put the dress on. It's just like, I'm not going to push back on this thing because maybe this will give me grace later. And I love that she's got a mouthful of bread because she starves. It's beautiful. That's a good line.
he says, "I'd very much like to see you in it." And just Bachelor word.
Prior Bob. Yeah, she's been around the bush. She fucking knows, and that's what I'm saying. You can see she quickly does that calculation of like, no, I know this kind of guy. He needs some control. Let me give him this thing I'm willing to do instead of sucking his dick later. Mm-hmm. And then that's just, we had a drink in this place because she's going to use her superpower, which is drinking somebody under the table, or at least getting someone more intoxicated than she's capable of being because she's broken.
Without realizing, actually, he has even more alcohol superpowers than she does because he's French. Because I grew up on this stuff. It's my family's private label.
And then they really are like truly laughing at each other and enjoying each other. I like that. And then she does something unintentionally very wise, which is as she's like leaving him and being like, haha, I really am leaving. Sorry. But I like you under different circumstances. We could, she's saying all this stuff and she's actually genuinely being nice to him.
She means it, yeah.
She means it. And then she gets, and then Nazi, Churtle Myrtle, where the fuck, I don't know, that guy.
Good evening, Fraulein.
And then she runs behind the guy she was just threatening for protection, which I think is also very relatable.
Paul Freeman and Karen Allen apparently worked all this out on their own. They're like, we need to zhuzh up this scene a little bit. Let's figure this out. Let's have a lot more fun. We'll do a lot more laughing. We really enjoy each other in this drinking contest. It's one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
And I like that he gets to be torn about the danger she ends up in a couple times. Like he does seem to want to date her or, likes her. He doesn't want her to die, but
like he'd make her suck his dick, but classily.
Like he'd buy her another dress.
Yeah. And he wouldn't think it's wrong.
He's French.
Like, yeah, I'm keeping you captive, but like, I'm nice about it. So, and we don't actually see what sort of fucked up interrogation they do of her because Toth comes in and there's the famous coat hanger gag.
Oh, yeah.
But then we don't actually see what kind of their whole thing is like. We're digging in the wrong site. Maybe Marion knows where the right site is to dig because she's had the medallion for so long. Okay, we have ways of making her talk, but we don't see what those are because the next time we see Belloc and the Nazis, it's like the next morning and they're like,
but she didn't talk. She had nothing to say, really.
And then he just notices, there's a lot of guys digging at a site that we didn't tell them to dig at. Maybe that's where.
Bring Marion.
Yeah.
They don't like it. It is much like a Bond movie or Star Wars, I guess. They don't ever want to just kill the people they're so sick of having to catch. Let's just throw you in a hole. That's more creative.
Is that a problem for you? I mean, like when that happens in a movie, does it annoy you?
It's a trope.
Are you like Scott Evil? I have a gun in my room.
I don't know. I do wish they'd sometimes have like sometimes movies give you at least a little bit of like a stroke of, we know you're smart, by saying, you still have something I need. I'll get to you in a second. Or just some kind of, but it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Not have a movie? Okay.
Exactly.
So let's
we need a movie. We need a movie.
We need a movie.
In the Well of Souls, there's a lot of big statues of Anubis and then lots of snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? Indiana Jones asks. He's very afraid
Steven
of
Spielberg paid for. That's why, Andy. It's not that many snakes when you're looking at it from up here.
I know. It's the expected amount of snakes in a tomb. But then Sala looks down. Asps, very dangerous. You go first. Now, I recently realized I watched Young Frankenstein, which is 7 years older than this movie, and that movie has that joke in it. So Raiders of the Lost Ark ripped you off. Marty Feldman in that movie makes the same joke. But then again, these are not just asps. These are all kinds of snakes.
Yeah.
Idiot.
I saw a viper in there, and also one of those ones with hair.
Yeah.
It's not hair.
One of those hairy snakes.
No, like the one that looks like he's got like a coif. What am I trying to say?
And then the ones with sunglasses. I don't know what you're talking about.
One that's got like
a king cobra?
Yeah.
You mean the one in the picture that we're looking at?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he's got a crown. That's why it's a king.
That's right.
That makes sense.
And, I don't think they actually do much with Indy being scared of snakes. Because, how does he behave any differently than he otherwise would have?
No.
It's just supposed to be more tense because we know he's afraid?
Otherwise, it's just too easy for him to climb a thingy and then go out a hole. I mean, it is disgusting. This movie is gross.
Yeah.
This is another... I'm okay with the snakes in piles. They're very dusty. But when they start coming out of the holes in the wall, I'm like... Because it just reminds me of roaches. That's all. I'm not scared of snakes.
A lot of anything. Like if you watch those videos of like a roof, a panel of roof being peeled off and bats coming out.
No. I don't like an infestation of any kind. Please do not give any more examples. Fuck, gross.
Snakes in general, though, are you afraid of them?
I just said I'm not. No, I'm not.
Snakes in general, though, are you afraid of them? So they go down, they find the ark, and Sala helps him carry it. I think the movie does a really good job at this point of making you impressed with the history of this thing that they pull out. Or not.
They throw Marion down the hole Are we there yet?
Not just okay, fine.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
But they finally they hoist the ark back up. Sala goes back up, and he's like, "All right, time to get out and get back to America with my new find." And then Belloc shows up. He's like, "Indiana Jones." Belloc's always there to take what Indy does all the work.
It's got great timing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, thank you for digging this up for me."
Well, if you disturb him, he won't do all the work.
And then the Nazis just push Marion down into the tomb with him.
Just throw him. It's a big asshole.
And then they close them in. And Marion sees the snakes and immediately climbs onto Indy's back. And you were laughing pretty heartily.
Because it's just, that looks improvised too. It's just such a very fucking human way.
Yeah, it's not graceful.
At all. She doesn't look cute. He doesn't look cute, but it's adorable. It's so fucking cute. Oh my God.
And
she's in a fucking dress. She was in a perfectly reasonable outfit. And then he gets saucy with her. How'd you get that? Rape, my friend.
Yeah. You've been busy, Marion.
Jesus. Way to not understand the dynamics here.
The scene, we were looking at the screenshot of Indy, like right in front of a king cobra. Famously, there's some acrylic panel between them that was digitally removed. So Steven Spielberg, you said that you stopped doing this with E.T., stop touching up your films digitally, but you're still doing it, motherfucker. Release the acrylic panel cut, I'm saying, of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It was never meant to be seen, the acrylic.
You could see it in theaters in 1981.
No, this is a special effect.
I said
no.
Okay, but you could see it, and he's like, "Oh, you could see it in 4K, so we need to remove it."
He is preserving the art by making it be seen as it was intended to be seen. He filmed it not knowing the future of filming and understanding what 4K is. He's keeping it correct by you not seeing the fucking strings being pulled.
That's certainly what he says. I don't know.
It doesn't make
I don't
sense,
know if I agree with that.
That's so fucking stupid. If some weird technology came out where they could extend the footage of anything ever recorded by 1 inch on either side, you're saying that it would be fair for things that no one could have known to prepare for and to not get things out of the way, that we should get to see what's on those two extras.
No.
Their nose.
I'm saying on VHS, you could see the panel.
Oh, I didn't mean to get so heated. Are you sure?
Yes. You can go look it on YouTube. Look at the footage. You can very clearly see the panel.
But we're supposed to pretend it's not there though, right? We're not. We don't think that he's in an aquarium. Okay.
Well, but that's just why this question is interesting. At what point do you stop? You're like, okay, it seems reasonable. Yeah, take it out because you didn't know we'd have such high resolution footage.
You just said VHS. You could see it.
Yeah.
So he knew that.
Yes. So extend it further. At what point are we?
He was allowing it on VHS. So that means he wanted to allow it in general. So he shouldn't have got rid of it.
During the VHS era, he didn't have the technology to digitally remove it. They didn't have good enough computers.
I'm tapping out.
Okay. They escape the tomb. It's pretty easy to escape the tomb.
Yeah. Just you knock
fall a statue
knock a thing into a thing.
If you go to Egypt right now, can you go in a pyramid?
Yeah, I heard they're gross.
Okay.
Like a lot of trash. Like people just throw it's a tourist trap and people just throw trash. Like it's
in the pyramid.
Oh, I don't know. But I did hear that the Egyptian pyramids are underwhelming because you think they're going to, they are photographed in a way. And the reality is just this is just, it's a city street, only it's sand. It's a base, people are coming and going. No one's cleaning it up. It's a big place.
I felt that way when I saw the Alamo because the Alamo's in downtown San Antonio with KFCs and stuff.
I kept passing it by and I'm like, is this a statue of the Alamo? This is the Alamo.
No, ma'am, that's the Alamo.
Felt the same way. I didn't go with you. This is a separate adventure and my own thoughts.
That's why we're soulmates.
Ew.
So there's a plane chase or a plane fight and a car chase because they got to get that ark. They're loading that ark on the plane. So Indy fights with a big Nazi and fights with a littler Nazi, and Marion climbs on the plane and makes it move. Mm-hmm. What do you think of all of this?
I love that she's scrappy and resourceful enough to get into shit, but not to get out of it. So it is a common Marion thing. You're just like, oh, just fucking get out of here. Andy! Jones! Indiana! Saying his name different ways is going to make him more likely to come get you. I like it. I mean, the whole the tension with the propeller, you're like, okay, someone's going to get in the propeller. Mm-hmm. Someone's got to get in it. Is it going to be Indiana Jones? Doubt it.
Good action filmmaking that you're able to track that, and you see the plane was stationary until she moved the little peg out of the way of the wheel.
Which she should have. That was helpful.
And then
she starts killing people with a fucking machine gun. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart.
But Indy gets the shit beaten out of him right here by the big
Yeah.
Nazi. Like he's not invulnerable. He's not even that good of a.
Half of his luck is luck.
The other half?
Luck.
And then the car chase, because they put the Ark in a truck, so he's going to chase it. How are you going to do that, Indy? I don't know. I'm making it up as I go.
I like that line.
And he gets on a horse. Where did he get the horse? I don't know.
He made it up. He imagined it.
So, yes, big car chase. Roger Ebert called this the best car chase in cinema history. Lacey complained that there's too many different kinds of terrain.
You said it's on purpose, so okay, I accept that. If it's intentional, then fine.
Well, but then I looked up where they filmed this. They filmed this in Nefta, Tunisia, which is an oasis. This is what the terrain really is there. You go from desert to jungle.
I thought oases were a thing because they don't exist, but I think I'm thinking of mirages.
Right.
Oops.
Right. Yeah, oasis just means like some water in the like water and plants in the middle of a desert.
And a wonder wall.
And what's the story? Morning Glory.
Okay.
The Nazis, they're not real happy that Indiana Jones beat them by outrunning them in their car because he got the Ark. So they go back to town. The Egyptians give them like watermelons and stuff, and Dietrich, one of the Nazis, is so angry he just takes the watermelon and throws it out of the car. I love it. He's so angry. Like, and then they leave, and all the Egyptians clap
Yay!
because they were bad bosses.
Bad.
And so Indy and Marion get on a boat piloted by
sexy.
Mr. Katanga.
That's a fun name. Yes, and Marion gets another gift of a gown from a man that seems like, what are his motives? I don't know. But Indiana's like, all of his injuries have caught up with him. They're making their escape right now. He's just trying to he's just sitting. He still has his hat. What the fuck's wrong with him? Take your hat off. She comes in looking very pretty, but she wants to fix his wounds or whatever. Do the thing they let women do. And let me put something that's going to burn, and you're going to be a big tough man. You're going to go, I'm going to see you're so vulnerable. Oh my God. Except for everything on him hurts.
That's not true, Lacey. She's not putting anything on him. She's just helping him take off his.
Yep. Then she's got a thingy and she's dabbing. Look, she got water and thingies.
Okay, but clearly she is just trying to get fast forward to fucking and realizes he's not going to be able to. He hurts in too many places.
Okay, God, Jesus. Apologetic.
And God damn it, Indy, where doesn't it hurt? And he starts pointing at places.
Yeah, it is cute.
I think this is literally the only sexy scene in Spielberg's career.
I guess as the series goes, I will figure out if that's true, but I can't think of another sexy scene.
He's just not into sex, and he's a very sexless director. I think when he does it, it's kind of awkward, but this one is
Fade to black.
This is pretty good. I mean,
but they also don't have sex, and they make that clear that they're not going to be having sex.
Well, he falls asleep, and she's like, Wait,
that's true. She does wake up naked.
And then it's the next morning, and she's naked. So obviously, he woke up in the middle of the night and they had some classic middle of the night fucking, the best kind.
Sure.
And but it's just one of those. Where doesn't it hurt? Here.
Okay, please don't do the whole. You're creeping me out. Don't do the whole thing. We know the scene.
Okay, but can I tell you the ending of the most recent Indiana Jones movie? Let me just tell you what happens in this movie. Mm-hmm. It does the annoying thing that legacy sequels have to do. So the reason Indy and Marion have drifted apart, they're no longer with each other, is because their son Shia LaBeouf died in the Vietnam War.
Okay,
and they're both adrift, and they don't realize the other's in pain. Why can't they just figure it out and be there for each other? But he goes on his digs and stuff. And after the end of his big adventure in that movie, he's gotten the shit beaten out of him, and he's injured in all kinds of ways. And he wakes up after being passed out for days or whatever. And he wakes up and Marion's there in his apartment. He's like, Marion. And she's like, yeah, I heard you were back. And there's so much unspoken between them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. She's like,
then they do the scene again.
The way it leads up to Jesus. It is, but she's like, I'm emotionally hurt.
Right.
And he's just, and there's some sense, and he goes, well, where doesn't it hurt? Mm. So it's not only do they do it again, but they reverse the rules.
Yes.
You have to do, it's like a law. You have to do that. As if the characters have seen the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. Remember our classic exchange from that boat?
Okay.
And yet it's
now look who cares about fucking what makes sense.
Stuff like that, because I can see the cynical strings. I can see that this will give people a little dopamine hit. That's the thing like the other thing.
All right, come on.
I'm coming.
Ew.
What happens next, Lacey?
The Germans find them on their big boat.
They do.
And they come aboard it, and they are looking for Indy, but Indy went down like a garbage chute or a blowhole or something. And Marion is being offered as a sex slave. Like, I don't know. What's it? Katanga is trying to do his best to keep her on board, keep her safe, but it's negotiated that he doesn't get negotiation rights, and then she is taken, and the Ark, I guess, goes with them. Yes. And then the next thing you know, you see Indy in the water climbing up on the boat, because after the two of those things.
Yes. And the guys on the ship cheer because they see him running across the deck of the U-boat. And this is one of those things that people are always like, plot hole. How did Indy get into the submarine before it dived? Dived. It's actually dived.
Oh, I don't ever get it right.
And this is the first time I watched the movie and realized, no, but the submarine doesn't dive.
Yeah, it's above.
Yeah. Which
just because it can do both doesn't mean it's doing it.
Yeah, I think, in fact, they spend more time. No, I don't know what I'm saying. But the next time we see him out of the water watching the submarine come in. So he must have been on top of this thing the whole time. And then jumped off and swam to shore.
There you go.
There you go.
Idiots. Watch the movie.
Get a fucking clue. So they go to this weird island in the Greek Sea. And what's wrong?
Well, you've got the face melting picture up like I wasn't going to respond to it. Idiot. This is crazy. What's he covered in? Ew. Is it glue?
I don't know what he's covered in.
All right. Well, instead of killing them, they've tied them to a stake. And they're kind of away.
Well, but first,
wait,
he holds them up with a bazooka. He's like, you can keep the
They don't
Ark.
expect him. And he's like, I got a bazooka. I'm going to blow it up or give me the girl. And
Jones.
And they call his Shia LaBeouf and LaBeouf. Damn it. Fuck my joke. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I do want to see what's in it. Or I don't want to destroy this thing. This thing is important. And we are not important enough to destroy it. And so the next thing you see, I'm pretty sure, is just them very gingerly tied to a stake. And they're about to open the Ark. This is a whole bunch of guys like strategically placed.
Belloc is even dressed in this ancient priestly garb.
That's what they say. Like they he believes in the religious part of it, and he feels that they need to do this Jewish ceremony to open the Ark justly. And the way he's doing that through faith reason, I'm pretty sure, unless he doesn't believe that he actually make it out alive in time to see it, and he wants to see inside of it. But the German guys like, I don't want to do it. And anyway, and Bulloc's like, do you really want to open this in front of Hitler and find out then that it's empty? And it's like, oh, that's smart. Good manipulation, Belloc. So they do a ceremony.
They do.
Which could just be made up. Belloc could just be like, blah, 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 I just want to open it.
He too is just making it up as he goes along.
Well, he just wants to see it. Like this is just his ruse. Like, open it now, open it now, open it now.
Open it now after we march across this island to this weird spot. And this is filmed in Tunisia. And in fact, this was filmed in the same canyon that in the first Star Wars movie, Obi-Wan Kenobi's house is in. Once you notice that, you're like, oh yes, it is lit. It is identical.
Like it. Yeah. It also looks like the place where they are in Dune when they walk through mountains and like they're looking on the sides, and it's just a good place to put people.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it, Marion. I keep meaning to watch this movie. And is that seated anywhere? Is there any clue? Like, what are the people in the painting doing? Oh, they're not looking because they know.
I don't know. But no, I can't. As a not having seen it a bunch of times, I can tell you I don't remember that. And I was trying to pay attention.
I wrote in my notes, is Belloc just a cosplayer? Is he a huge nerd? I think I mean
he's an archaeologist. Any archaeologist is a huge nerd,
but like in a real like, I don't know. What? It's weird that he does that, but I guess he just does actually believe in the.
But they're also history teachers, right? I mean, those two things go together. So he understands the history and the lore, and we think does believe in the magic of it or the religious side of it. So if you really believed that, you would go ahead and just cover your bases.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not.
I guess. But the god comes out and kills them all, and it looks cool as hell. It does.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like a sexy lady, then it's a skull, and then it's lightning.
And all three of these, Dietrich, Belloc, and Toth, all these actors are making good faces, like as they look in, just mouths agape. So yeah, back in the United
They're
States,
making Spielberg faces of wonder.
the transition into horror. But Belloc makes the Spielberg face to the end. He knows he doesn't even know he's about to die. He's just like, holy shit, I'm looking at a lady in space.
It's very Ghostbusters.
Back in the United States, the two Army intelligence officers from the beginning tell Jones and Brody, we have the Ark. It's in a secure facility. It's under the supervision of top men. Indiana says, who?
Right. Because they're the top men in their field. Who's your top men? Who know more about this than me? I'm the top.
Top men. It's so great.
And it's just at an Amazon fulfillment center.
Yes. I think it was Kathleen Kennedy who pointed out, because the movie was originally going to jump from this scene with the Army guys to the warehouse. And she said, shouldn't we check in with Marion one final time?
Yeah.
So you can tell this is a reshoot with Indy coming down the stairs and Marion meeting him there, because he's like, where is this? And then she's just like, sorry about the Ark thing. Want to get a drink?
Yeah. Alcohol.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, and I would too. And yeah, it turns out the government's hoarding all kinds of ancient religious magic.
Oh, I didn't. I took that to mean that the government seizes lots of stuff and none of it's more important than they don't care about any of it.
Or that.
Even this, it's just getting filed away.
Yeah.
Under mine. These are mine.
Are we any better than the Germans?
That's not what I'm saying.